Hello, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the head of content in Informa Pharma Insights, the publishers of Script, Pink Sheet, In Vivo, and Generics Bulletin. We're here at Biotech Showcase 2019 in San Francisco, where pharmaceutical, biotech industries get together and meet up with investors to review what happened in 2018, but also look at prospects of 2019. 2018 was a record year for venture capital investment. There was over 23 billion globally, and a lot of that money went into therapeutics. I'm joined by Marc Lohrmann, who's the managing partner of Versalius BioCapital III, which is a European fund. Yep. Marc, I mean, what's interesting is that while a lot of the venture capitalists these days are very, very focused on therapeutics, you have a much more sort of Catholic view, looking at the whole waterfront.
Yeah.
Could you sort of explain why you're sort of, I guess, bucking the trend?
Yeah. So Versalius BioCapital is in operations for 11 years. And when we started off in 2007, our investor base asked us to create a broad portfolio of companies in all the subsectors in life sciences, being drug development, medical devices, diagnostics. Digital health was not known by the time. Right now it is known, so we added that to our investment approach. And over all the fund generation, we generated these, let's say, nicely balanced portfolios. And we still believe in that, also to balance risk between a higher risk therapeutics investment and a comparably lower risk in diagnostics, for example. And we continued that, but we shifted the investment scope for the third fund a bit towards more the later stage pipeline that we are seeing. And later stage means in drug development, anything in human clinical trials, whereas medtech, diagnostics, digital health, most of the companies we are seeing having CE mark, FDA approval, Health Canada approval, and there our money is used for more commercializing, but also adding other indications or something like that.
Right, okay, and VBC III, which is your third fund,
yeah.
It had a first close, May 2017 at 65 million.
Yes.
Dollars?
It's euros.
65 million euros.
Yeah.
You've added to obviously to the bank account. So where does it stand at the moment, and when do you expect to have a final close?
Yeah. So at the moment we are standing with 110 million euro. So we added some larger LPs recently, and we ourselves are fundraising until April this year. Then we are having a final close of the fund. The likelihood that we are arriving at 120, 125 is quite high. If we could secure some lucky punches, might be even higher, but I would think about 120, 125 at the moment as a sweet spot.
Right, and okay, so the first close, May 2017. How many investments have you made so far?
We have executed 3 investments. Recently we have invested in Forendo Pharmaceuticals in Finland, where we joined the Series A round, which has been already raised by Novartis Venture Fund, Novo Seeds, M Ventures, so Merck Ventures, and Karolinska. So we joined them in the Series A. And Forendo is a clinical stage company in women's health disorders, so endometriosis treatment. Then we have done a deal in Munich, a commercial stage medtech company, which we have not disclosed so far, which we believe is the market leader in customized prosthesis solutions, especially for patients with amputated leg and foot. And then we have done a digital health deal in Portugal, in Porto, which is bringing physiotherapy to the home of the rehab patients.
Okay, so with therapeutics, it's you mentioned that it's something that's in human clinical trials. With medtech, it's where it's got a CE mark.
Yeah.
With digital health, what is it that floats your boat?
Yes. So first of all, it should be a very well thought business plan. So especially who pays for that solution has to be clearly answered. Most of the deals are not fulfilling this first criteria. And when we are seeing these deals, most of the time they're having pilot customers, being pharma companies, hospitals, even payers that are able to pay for these solutions. So that is a very important entry criteria. But what we have to learn is that especially these digital health deals, they are driven by IT investors, and they are doing much different deals than we do. That starts with a term sheet, that continues with corporate governance, and I think there will be a convergence of these spheres of life sciences investors and IT investors. And I'll meet up with a West Coast VC later in the week who is interested in one of our portfolio companies, and it will be a very interesting meeting.
Right, okay. And if we look at the, for example, with Forendo, you're in there with some, blue chip VCs who have been around for a long time, and you said you joined it, so you weren't a lead investor. Do you ever take a lead investor position?
Yeah, so we try to have a healthy mix between lead investor positions and where we are just following other knowledgeable investor that we like. And in the past we have done a lot of lead investor deals, but right now with this later stage focus, we have to accept that others are also having very smart approaches and very beautiful, bright. And then we'll co-investing with them. That's fine for us.
Right, and sort of while you have a sort of a broad focus in terms of the areas that you invest in, you're restricted to Europe in geographically.
Yeah, so that's our home turf, and there are some good reasons to invest in Europe. Notably that pre-money valuations are still very low, even for that later stage opportunities, so which is good for us. It's still a buyer's market. We have an opening in our prospectus to also invest abroad. We'll likely use that for 1 or 2 deals, but the majority of the deals will be Europe, including the UK.
Right, and we're still part of Europe when this video first goes out, at least. So if we look, so you're involved in some early investments. How long are you likely to hold an investment in a business? Are you, if Forendo requires additional financing, do you anticipate participating in long term?
We're always reserving some dry powder for follow-on rounds. But with the exit horizon in that third fund, because it's a later stage fund, we think that within 5 years we can get out of each and every investment. Will that hold true for every investment? Likely not. Something will happen along the lines. Yeah. But in general, I think when you are having a smart thinking about the business plans and really focusing on the value creating factors in a company, then it might be doable for 5 years exit horizon.
Okay, and the length of the fund, is it sort of 7 years?
It's 10 plus 1 plus 1. Okay. So it's a Luxembourg domiciled fund, and so they're quite standard Luxembourg durations.
Okay. All right then. And I mean, just looking, I mean, you're here in San Francisco, which is obviously a distance from Luxembourg. What are you looking to achieve here?
Yeah. So interestingly, a lot of European companies show up here, so it's much easier to meet them here every half an hour.
Okay.
But it's always very valuable for us to exchange with US-based investors, very smart and clever people. We also talk to potential limited partners for our fund domiciled in the US. So it's a very nice mix of people that I meet here.
Okay, and sort of looking at the fund's been around for 11 years. I mean, the investment opportunities that you've seen in Europe. I mean, you mentioned that, okay, the pre-money valuations are at an attractive level for you. Have you sort of seen any sort of shift in sort of the quality of the assets that you're offered?
Absolutely. I think there's a shift in this later stage nature of the deals. A reason for that might be that a lot of, let's say, governmental equity programs are kicking in, and so we see the company at a comparable later stage compared to the earlier funds that we raised. Very good science, quality of science. We even have raised money from Portugal, also very interesting geography to invest in, very good quality of science. And I think we can compete with the US, although the US entrepreneurs, they tend to be more marketeers and much better sellers of their companies and technologies. And there we are educating our entrepreneurs, and it's a great challenge.
Right, Marc. Well, pleasure seeing you again.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.